Birth of an Alien, a work in progress. The 3 poems that form this open part should really be read concurrently, but I know that's a physical impossibility, so I will be reading them consecutively. Part 1. Shadows. I was born unimaginably young to a backdrop of war fought on a global scale. Doodlebugs fledged their way across the scene of my nativity. I swear, a legacy of wild imaginings, I heard the engines stall as death descended plague-like from the sky. Childhood and youth were spent in the shadow of a mushroom cloud. As if by miracle our lives went on, remaining unconvinced by the deterrence lie. And, guided by the light of spies for peace, I joined the siege of bunkers which did not exist according to the parliamentary line, where those that govern could survive improbable attacks. Loophole acknowledged, their reasoning must be to strike preemptively, and I declined the opportunity, disowned all those prepared for genocide, became an alien in my own land. Part 2. Light. Wrapped in a world full of love, whilst all around was hate and fear, the enemy was thwarted but not forgiven. Their future generations would be tarnished by the mark of Cain. I failed to understand that reasoning. From my own comfort, rich in love if not in pennies, I began to see the world through eyes of others' understanding, took stands upon my parents' faith, reluctantly accepted proscriptions unknown to many of my friends. Sunday was decisively the Lord's Day. My father worked, being a preacher man. My mother worked, looking after the family. That was the day I could not venture out to play with friends whose parents were otherwise persuaded. The radio was silent. Save for the news or hymn singing, this was our Sabbath day. The would-be sanctified could only pray for those proverbial sheep so far astray. It seemed as if the second covenant was made of rules, almost forgetting the liberty of grace. Part 3. The School of Doom. A rebel prepared for any cause, I traversed many scenes but never found my niche. I knew from early teens what I must be, but first I must break free. Eager to break the bonds of school, a kind of punishment for being young, I dreamed my time away, moving from one school to the next, never quite worked my way, fell foul of alien traditions, compelled to join a company of snobs, a secondary punishment once removed for my 11+ success. Teachers just failed to understand the differing curriculum from one part of the country to the next, dismissed me as unworthy of attention when I couldn't understand their different scheme of things. They made me hooker in their rugby union game when all I knew was soccer, not the queer toffs routine. No one attempted to explain the rules, and I became a victim, kicked and ground down. The previous absence of a swimming pool ensured I never learnt to swim, except against the tide. They held me under at the deeper end, then failed to understand my trauma, a baptism through drowning. Loving to play with words, I soon lost patience with the drill of prosody. Where words for me had always throbbed with life, they squeezed out their last breath and bound them in a shroud of grammar. Music to me was singing, but others in the class had learnt to read a simple score. The music man interpreted attendance at a different school as ignorance, my forte thwarted by a different scale of learning, and a tyrant's whim. And these were meant to be the best years of one's life. Even school trips that I'd been able to partake were way beyond my parents' means. In 50s Britain, skiing had never been a part of our lifestyle scheme. Not even part of any dream. I made excuses, skulked in the background as if ashamed of being poor. I never left these shores.